kittens. I hope you're doing wonderful.
Yeah, anyone that can do high pressure sales, they're gonna have the capacity to self-staging, absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Created our brand, which means we created our logo, we created our website, we created that vision before we launched our business. We didn't have a clue what our brand was before we launched our business.
Hey everybody, Shell Brodnax here with another episode of Stager Talk, and I am so excited today because you know him for a very long time in our industry, and I've known him for a very long time in this industry, and I'm so happy that Matthew Finlason is my guest today. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, how are you doing,
Hey.
Shell?
We're doing
Hi, everybody.
great. So excited to have you on. So everybody knows a little bit of the history. It's funny, I said something to Cheryl Eisen the other day. I was interviewing her, and she's going to be one of our keynote speakers. You know, it's a big stager in New York City. Got a great business model, smart lady. And she had said she got into staging. She was originally watching the show, The Stagers. And she got into
really?
it. And yeah, she loved it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We got 6 degrees of Matthew Finlason going on. Like how it is that everybody knows you from probably a little bit something different in the industry. And you've had just such an amazing career when you first started out. I remember when you were coming over from Canada and you were just
like
getting
crossing the border, telling everybody how things would work. Really didn't know much, but you know, I was incredibly passionate about this, and you know, decided to break some rules, which made me popular and unpopular.
Yeah, but look where you are today. So let's talk about, you've got a really great career, and you, through the pandemic, have really discovered some really important factors about our career. So just so everybody knows, Matt is going to be talking, his topic is called Show Me the Money, Purchasing Inventory That Will Sell and Rent for Top Dollar, Revealing New Streams of Revenue and Clientele. So due to the pandemic, we chatted a little bit about before we jumped on how because of the pandemic, we've all really had to, we keep saying that word pivot in our businesses, but we've had to pivot. We've had to increase efficiencies. We've had to do more for less, do more with less hands, with less bodies. And you were able to really recognize some things going through the pandemic with regards of how to build additional incomes, especially when it comes to not only just selling your inventory, because everybody is like, yeah, I can sell this, I can sell that. Anybody can sell anything. But you are really taking it from a different approach because you're thinking about it from procurement to end sale with goals.
100%. You know, begin as you mean to go. Yeah. Okay, my bookkeeper in there, that's all she said for the last 5 years, and it drives me nuts. And another saying she says is, touch it once. You know, in home staging, we're moving in, we're moving out, we're moving in, we're moving out. And COVID, what it did was it accelerated everything. We went into the pandemic with certain unsustainable variables that I'm going to get into during the conference. And then COVID forced a lot of us into, you know, fight or flight. Right? Essential or non-essential? Are we going to work? We had to keep we had to keep us out of a recession, number one, because imagine a recession on top of a pandemic. So some of us worked, some of us pulled our sales down. I worked and I pulled my sales down, and I was forced to go, oh man, I need to figure out less heavier ways to make money. And I was walking around my warehouse empty, a lot of my staff gone, thinking I'm in that video game where I got reset to level 3 and I was at level 25 and I didn't save. So I'm like, I'm done, you know? And at that moment, my phone rang when I'm thinking I'm not even gonna make it to a pandemic loan. Phone rang. Someone wanted to buy the furnishings, like everything in it. Before I knew it, I had $85,000 deposited into my account. Now, we all knew that that could happen. There was the home staging fee, and then there was a potential furniture sale. during the pandemic, I realized, okay, I'm not getting precious about my furniture. People are dying. Yeah, you can totally rent that sofa and you can then buy it for me. And I started to realize the renting and purchasing was paying for the sofa 4 or 5 times. And I, without the level of staff to continue operating, decided to let the furniture lift me. I was like, you know what? I've been lifting you guys a long time. You're gonna lift me now. And I sat down with my bookkeeper and I said, how do I make money? Just please tell me the story. How are all the ways I make money? And I'm gonna get into those 5 streams of revenue that might hit or might not hit. I started to see all 5 streams of revenue happening in one property, which was very strange because it had a lot to do with pandemic variables, right? Supply chain breakdown, migration, travel restricted, people going to Florida, Hawaii, California, people buying homes, vacation homes that they're gonna rent. So, you know, Airbnb is a big topic also at the conference. What I started to do was set up those homes for the Airbnb because I knew that with one property, not only could I pull in a staging fee, I could pull in rental income, but this other move-in ready service I used to do, I'd love to talk about, you know, hey, I'll get the towels, the kitchen, I'll get it all set up for you. So it's move-in ready, turnkey. That's exactly what people needed during the pandemic. So boom, that would start to hit. Then they'd be like living in the home and say, oh, we like 60% of this, purchase. Now, the reason they were purchasing it was because when I was purchasing it, I was thinking about the end user. Will this move? Will this sell? And 60% of it would sell. And then the 5th stream of revenue, which we all know can hit as well. Can you help us find the other 40%? I was like, of course I can. Not only can I find it in my warehouse, but I'm also a decorator. And the reality is I was hitting 5 streams of revenue on one installation, making more money than 5 installations. Because the staging fee, which everybody fights for in this industry, and it's a race to the bottom, let me tell you, race to the bottom, the staging fee. The staging fee is a lost leader. You know what I mean by that, Shell?
It can be. It sure can be. And if more people could think bigger picture,
well,
then the staging fee, no matter what it is a nominal. It's getting you in that door, and then you move on to the bigger things.
And with it going down, it's covering. It's just covering the bases, okay? Covering the overhead. And you know, we went into the pandemic. I've been listening, watching Facebook. You know me. I get on that Facebook, and I'm ready to drop the gauntlet. A lot of variables started to going into the pandemic. Okay, escrow running up to closing, being on alert, eroding the bottom line. The AB5 independent contractor laws. That suddenly meant we needed to manage movers, we needed to manage designers, and it became unprofitable with where staging fees are at. But the staging fee was just making it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we went in there and COVID accelerated all of it. And, you know, I'm going to say something that a lot of the schools are not going to like, because they say staging is staging and design is design. But the truth is, most of the unprofitable stagers out there and staging companies, they're actually decorators who love to stage so that they can decorate every single day, right? And managing a company of this size is very, very difficult. Now, the decorators who got into this game, because we started taking a bit of their game, and we're made up of many different types, set designers, right?
Yeah.
Decorators, stagers, moms of America, which make the best stager, how to pull together a home and sell it. I mean, come on. Some of us realize where the money really is. not just in a staging fee. Staging is just staging. Nope. COVID accelerated it, elevated. We were going in, buttoning up. We were going to school. It was all like getting real serious. And then people started buying the furniture at a time we needed them to. And the truth is, it can flow into multiple streams of revenue with one installation. You know, like, for example, right? I was telling two young staging companies that I've been mentoring, don't want to sell their furniture. I need my furniture. Wholesale is down, supply chain breakdown. Why should I sell if I can't get it? I was like, boo, you all shopping at the same diamond sofa and complaining that you can't get your boucle chair, right? The truth is, I was never just shopping there. Shopping wholesale is shopping deep. You got to do a little bit of that, but I was always shopping wide. I was hitting the marketplace. I was hitting everywhere. I was going to a place called the Hotel Surplus Outlet. This guy won a sofa. He takes sofas from celebrities that are $8,000 and sells them for $900. $900? That's a lot for a staging sofa. I'm like, no, not when I sell it for $4,000. Boo. So I look at one of the young stagers. She's like, I can't sell my inventory. I said, I thought you were complaining that you're barely making ends meet with this staging fee thing. What do you mean you don't want to sell it? You rent it, you sell it, you rent it and you sell it again, stage it. And I go, well, how much did you pay for the sofa? She's like, $400. And so what I said to her is I said, look, never before have the variables been in home staging companies' favor with regards to the realtor, with the need for home staging furniture during a pandemic, during a supply chain breakdown, where decorating delivery dates and wholesale are sometimes not coming until December now. When COVID hit, he who had furniture was king. Because the markup, not because I'm being a jerk, but I might not be able to get this sofa. And if you really, really, really want it, this is the price. So I tell one young stager, I said, you know what? Just put a price on it. Just put a price to frighten them. Never say no in business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Shel? Never say
the FU
no.
price. Yes, give them the FU price.
Yeah, just up that rate and watch them pay you. So she puts this sofa for $2,200. Now it was probably an $900 sofa she got for $400. He said yes. And he said yes to everything else. And she deposited more in her pocket from the sale of that furniture than she did on the staging fee.
Yeah.
More profit margin on it. That furniture had staged 7 to 15 times already. It had paid for itself. And I looked at her, I said, how many move outs do you think before that white sofa starts to unravel and then it plugs up your warehouse? Sell it while it's fresh and go get something new. Well, where do I get it? I was like, where are you shopping? I can't get anything from Coaster. I can't get anything from here. I said, well, maybe that's the problem.
Go someplace else.
Turn over every single rock. I said, hit the Facebook marketplace. So, yeah, Facebook marketplace is a really great place. Why? Pandemic shopping. People have been staring at a wall. They're getting rid of their CB2 and West Elm, and then they want a tiki lounge. They want a tiki lounge, really. They want a tiki lounge, and they're selling their stuff. I've been driving a van around down the pandemic and sucking up everybody's really great stuff. And what that's done is drop the price of furniture. On the marketplace, I couldn't sell a $500 item for 50 bucks. There's only one place furniture is selling for top dollar. Available furniture is selling for top dollar. And that is inside of a home stage, right? Not even a store, okay? It's there, it's turnkey, and I want you to sit on it and look at it. It's real. So the reality is we're using just uncomfortable prop furniture like we did when we were starting. None of that would rent and none of it would sell. And so that blew her mind. She made more money on the staging fee than the second one. Matt, he wants me to maybe set up for an Airbnb. I go, yeah, that's a thing. So the buyer buys the house, they ask you to set up for an Airbnb. What if you set up the stage and even pitched it to the realtors and said, no, we're not gonna home stage this. I've got another plan. What's that plan? Heidi, what did you say? Flow? All the streams of revenue flow into each other? My 5-point flow. Oh, I have a 5-point flow marketing plan for your property. What's that? I said, well, since vacation is restricted and everybody is setting up a vacation home, buying second homes, they're buying those properties to become income rental properties. So why don't we set up for that from the get-go? Turnkey. Doesn't have to hire someone to do Airbnb after. What if I tell them, and you tell them, this inventory is ready to rent or it is ready to sell from the get-go? Suddenly adds a little more appeal to the listing, doesn't it? Which in this market, homes are selling. But what it did was hand someone a turnkey product for them to just buy that home and get into business with me. And so what I found was, if I installed it correctly with furnishings that were both wide and deep, that they would purchase the home and they would want to rent it before purchasing it, which is really great. I've got all the schematics down because for the last year, while I wasn't fully running a home staging operation, fighting for a staging fee with too many hands, too many jobs, escrow coming right at me. Like we just became movers. I was like, the furniture's coming back and no, I stopped. You know, I'm not essential, but I've got something people need. And that was furniture. So during the pandemic, we learned that it was a rush to shelter. We were on Maslow's hierarchy. We're shelter, right? And that's what people needed. So not only would I sell, but I would also look at that markup and know where to get it. Like, for example, article from Canada isn't having a breakdown because Canada has its own port and they just ship it down the 5. Article can have it to you in 2 weeks to replace anything that you're selling. And then your ins and your outs. But I started to find out that the phone calls on one property didn't stop. Can you do this? Can you do this? I just started to say, yeah, I can do that. I can bring you towels. Yeah, I can Amazon Prime everything to you at this hourly rate. And I started to just see streams of revenue flowing after I had done one installation for like a long time. 1/3 of my stagings was paying me more money than all that staging. I somehow became more profitable. And I have no idea how that happened, except I do, because I was renting the furniture, I was selling the furniture, and I was getting very specific about purchasing it for this FPF 5-point flow plan. That from the get-go, even in my contracts, I started to put contracts in there should they want to pivot to any of these streams of revenue. Oh yeah, no, we don't need to negotiate. You already negotiated that if you move someone in there, it's 4 times the renewal fee. So you're going to owe me about $8,000 a month with a minimum 4 months and a $50,000 deposit. Boom, really great to have cash drop into your account during the pandemic. Sofas, lighting, and art. At a time when people are crashing, the furniture started to lift me.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I know a lot of people are out here thinking this right now, because I talk to stagers, every day of the week, coaching them through, various issues that they have. And the one thing that I know that plagues many people that are just starting out or maybe mid-level is confidence. So I know a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, that's Matthew Finlason. That's multi-million-dollar properties. That's super luxury Los Angeles. But the bottom line is that the concept can translate no matter where you are in your business. But what separates people, what I find from being able to do these things versus when they don't do these things, is the confidence. So where I always give stories of people where you can have two stagers go bid a job, the exact same job. I'm just going to use round numbers. One stager can bid it at 10 grand. The other one will bid it at 3, and the person at 10 will get it. And the person at 3 or 4 won't get it. And it's because of the way they deliver their confidence. So what you just outlined is that we already said you don't want to say no. So when you give that price, if it's something you might not want to let go of, but you would for the right price, you give it to it like you just don't care. And for some reason that exudes so much confidence. And what do you think
you also don't care if I've got 5 properties in the field right now generating more than my warehouse costs. So I'm not as desperate. My sales are down. I'm not sinking. During the pandemic, my head was above the water. The confidence came in the understanding that the end all and be all isn't this staging fee. Because I got to get this staging fee. I remember that. I know that. I'm mentoring 2 people right now who are that. And I'm like, And I realized COVID accelerated them. They're getting multi-million-dollar homes that took the rest of us 10 years to get. And they're not fully equipped to contractually, the administrative infrastructure, the influx of furnishings. And I'm like, you guys got to button up like real quickly. And number 1, change your entire mindset about this staging fee, okay? Go in there at what it's gonna cost. You also know that you're bringing in a far superior service and product than most home stagers. So let them go. We have the pick of the litter right now. We're all like sometimes 2 weeks out. And this is across the board, Shell. I've been like listening to Facebook, everybody, in multiple demographics. I didn't just put this all together based on what was happening with me and my struggle to find other ways to make money. I was listening to Facebook where it was like Airbnb, they're asking to rent, they're asking to purchase. This is happening. Well, that's not home staging. Don't do that. Why would you sell your furniture? All over the place. I'm not inventing something here. What I did over the last year was I pulled my sales down. I understood COVID was a great accelerator. What's happening? What's happening? And of course I thought, I'm done. And then the money started to flow with a fraction of the payroll because I had enough inventory that I suddenly was just reserving it for these kinds of jobs, which meant when I was turning all the home stagings, it was watering down my product. But when I started to get a little more selective, all my inventory came home. I wanted it to come home during COVID. I wanted to shut down and I wanted to understand what was happening in the world and where the meaning was. I lost all meaning working for a lot of real estate agents that treat home stagers so poorly. My heart going out to women and men on Facebook every day, suddenly becoming, I'm being abused in this fashion. They're not following the contract. Escrow, I think, was the big problem during the pandemic. We saw it turning and the furniture started flooding back.
Yeah.
We weren't ready for it. When I got 15 calls to move out, how many homes? 15 calls to move out in 4 days with a fraction of my staff, I was like, that's going to give me a heart attack. And you're an asshole, and you're an asshole, and you're an asshole, and I'm not working for you, and you, and you, and you. And became very, very clear, speaking to the realtors I chose to continue to work with and the clientele, to sit here and say, this needs to change. Y'all treat home stagers like trash. And you just get them to throw money at it. Oh, you mean throw people at it during the pandemic? No, I won't. And then suddenly our phone started ringing off the hook, and realtors kind of needed us more than we needed them. And so that power dynamic shifted, and it shifted in a way where younger stagers are getting a lot of jobs, which, as far as confidence goes, getting the job was, the confidence boost. So they're getting the jobs. There's no way these schools are going to educate the influx of people who have just entered our field. I would task every senior staging company out there to grab 1-2 young stagers and start mentoring them. I opened up my contracts. I opened up everything to them. I thought, okay, if they're accepting this level of abuse, that's going to create a status quo. If I want to change the status quo, I can do it with these two. And so I started to do that. Why would you elevate your competition? Well, there's more than enough work to go around. Wouldn't you sell that IP? Sure. But you know what? I'd rather sell the inventory I don't want to them.
Yeah.
I mean, is anyone stopping to sit there and think about streams of revenue? Who are the clientele we're selling to a seller? I started selling to stagers.
Yep. I know when
I started to sell the demographics I didn't want. I was like, you can have, you want Encino? You want all my black and gold? You can have it, boo, at a fair price. And I found stagers were willing to pay me a fair price versus marketplace. So that became meaningful. At a time when I was looking for meaning and not finding it in my clientele, and then suddenly getting certain types of jobs that had a lot of meaning, and suddenly having more inventory at my disposal to stage it with the end in mind.
Yeah.
Stage it so that, boom, I would get a renter, because how the heck are they going to decorate this house? And when did you say you were moving in, Susie Q? From where? Oh, all right. Oh, the staging fee states these are the prices. So when there was a contractual agreement already in place, it was as if the buyer was like, well, this is what the seller signed. There was less negotiation. I had the power. You want it, or I'm taking it out on Tuesday. Okay, it's up to you.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing, isn't it, how all this stuff through the pandemic, and now think about your business model now, about once things really get back to normal, there's going to be a new normal, and this can be a new way of thought process on your business, and you can shampoo, rinse, repeat it. All your inventory comes in, you have certain things you keep, certain things you sell right away, certain things that you keep for a while, and then when you're done with them, you move them on. And again, this is what's so crucial for everybody to understand. This can happen on Matthew's level of the types of properties that he's doing. This can happen with the average home. Every stager can mentor somebody else, and from the next level up and up and up. So this isn't just, it's one size fits all, because the concept's going to apply for everybody, but you can do it on every single level.
Yeah, one of the things about mentoring young stagers and staging companies is, I care about them because I'm hearing the abuse on Facebook and reaching out to them and saying, take a look at my contract. Okay, you have to train your realtor. And so I care. B, when I was focusing on, let's consider me in sabbatical. I'm still working, I'm doing all that, but I'm putting together this new business plan, creating the contracts, creating the, figuring out the liabilities, because there's a whole bunch in this realm, and putting that all together and not wanting to lose some of my clientele. But I didn't have time to do your little bungalow. I didn't think it was gonna produce 5 streams of revenue. And I'm going for properties that produce 5. So where did you can lose one client if you don't do all of them, right? That's the big thing that keeps us turning. Well, I realized, you know what? I have this one stager for you. And she keeps me up all night anyway with sofas and this and that. So I'm likely to stage it anyway. And she'll work better towards your budget, but I am training her to value herself and him to value himself. But there's a common ground there. Oh, and by the way, she buys all my furniture, and Marilyn that you love with the cigarette in her mouth, the pop art, I can send that to the job. So boom. So what's happening is these younger stagers are staging a lot of my jobs with clients I don't want to lose, who are still bringing me the larger jobs, or they're bringing me, the jobs that'll hit my 5-point flow, and I'm not losing them. And it's almost like as if we're collaborating. And then I look at these young stagers and I say, look, my time is a value, right? If you want me to help you on this, you need to pay me to help consult. But pay me in the form also of coming and purchasing my furniture. Why are you going to Ross? I've got a lot of pillows I don't want, right? So I've made more selling furniture to my mentorship program than I did in a parking lot sale. And I found meaning in it because I'm kind of staging through them a little bit while focusing on my other guns. And I never thought that it would produce that level of income. Look, some of these young staging companies are getting 6,000 square foot jobs that they shouldn't. And so they don't have the inventory and they can't get it. I can teach people how to shop, but if you really, really want to get into the game, go to people who are established, ask them what they're selling. In fact, everybody should just grab their mentees and say, here's my inventory. Take this. You want Westwood? I don't want Westwood. Take the Westwood furniture, this price. And so boom, another stream of revenue. And it's keeping my inventory refreshed. And then that way I can run my van out and buy everybody else's CB2. And I'm starting to like my inventory. Now, this isn't going to always be like this. But what I have learned is when I put my foot back on the gas with the home staging, that home staging fee isn't what this business is about anymore. And so there's going to be multiple streams of revenue. There's going to be a lot of furniture that are sitting there in the field and making me passive income. Passive income over here. And then I can stage with boundaries. And I can stage, and then I can even lose a job. I'd be like, you know what? Bye.
Yeah, no big deal.
And so I'm trying to change the script. I don't know where we got scripted that we were people's and real estate agents' slave. Yeah. Because it sure feels like it sometimes. Not all of them.
Not all of them.
A few bad apples, but I'm thinking it's the other way. I think there's a few good apples. So you get young kids becoming realtors and looking at veteran people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and talking to them like their personal assistant. Well, that's going to change. Yeah. You know, you won't be as desperate for that staging fee once you start selling and renting furniture.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, you guys, you heard it here first. This is about the end of our time. And if you want more of Matthew, and I know y'all do, you're going to have to sign up for
We're going to get into it.
It's going to be deep. It's going to be wide. It's going to be deep. And he's going to show you everything in between and how to do it work, because you can do it as well.
Oh, yeah. And be more profitable.
Be more profitable. It's what everybody wants. So if you haven't signed up, September 30th and October 1st is RESACON. Everybody will get access to all the on-demand sessions that week. And then all the keynotes, which Matthew's keynote, of course, he's going to be live. And then we're going to do a whole 30 minutes or so afterwards for some Q&A. And just so everybody realize, if there's a chance that we might run over with Q&A, that'll be okay, because we've put Matthew purposely at the end of the day, because I know y'all are going to want to jump in his brain. And he is so just so giving and willing to give back to the community. He's agreed to be able to stay on at the end of the day.
I would do questions all day. You know me. And if we have to get off, then maybe a little after party on Clubhouse. I don't know.
There you go. All right. So that's it. Until next time, Matthew, thank you so much for joining me. I always do appreciate you. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Love the shirt. Love the vibe. And what?
Oh, you got to come to the conference, because I need to tell you all about Modern Tropical.
Modern Tropical, yes, we were going to mention that.
Aesthetics. In fact, those are the two aesthetics that are making this possible.
Yes, absolutely,
So
absolutely. All right, guys, so buy your tickets. Until next time, Shel Brodnax with Stager Talk and Matthew Finlason. Thanks, everybody, and happy staging. Toodles.